Sammy Guevara is Lemmy from WrestleMania 17, but better and needs to remain this for the rest of time. Britt Baker is an inspiration to us all, and in turn, Big Dick Tony Schiavone is an inspiration to Britt Baker, as well as being her best friend, and all of that needs to remain in place for the rest of time. Also, what was Trent wearing? I'm Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic.com. You may or may not be a sexual wank faisant, and here are all, I think, of the WTF moments from last night's AEW Dynamite. Hit the intro, man! WTF! And I know we saw Vickie Guerrero doing the cheerleading thing for the Inner Circle not too long ago, but when I saw that image there, it had me saying one thing, so it did. Excuse me! That sounded more like Brian Johnson from AC/DC, which of course is a bit ironic when you recall a TNT Dynamite. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop that there, it's terrible. But it would appear after that sight there at the top of last night's AEW Dynamite that Vickie Guerrero is now an honorary member, at the very least, of the Inner Circle. But I'm saying AEW, this is not far enough. Vickie Guerrero is horrible. She's a bastard. She's fantastic at being a bastard. She's unbearable. She's different to everything we see in the Inner Circle today, so she'll fit right in. Get Vickie Guerrero on screen in a managerial role for the Inner Circle. It needs to happen. And AEW, you're doing it now. You've gonna made a big mistake in my sad little pathetic mind at the very least. As we all saw during that tag team match at the start of last night's Dynamite, Penelope and Kip Sabian distracted referee Rick Knox, which gave Jimmy Havoc the chance to get into the ring with a ring wrench and twat Hangman Page and Kenny Omega upside of the head with it. But even though in the not too distant past we have seen an AEW match call reversed by a referee coming out from the back and correcting the referee inside the ring who couldn't see what was going on behind them because of a distraction, were Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc disqualified like they should have been if the precedence AEW set for themselves was followed? Were they bollocks? That was a disqualification. That, I don't know why it wasn't. My thick little brain just can't comprehend why some matches would have all referees watching backstage, or at least one, while other matches on an AEW card and a WWE one, they've done this thing in the past and it just does my tits in just as much, while other matches would have no referees watching backstage. It either happens for all the matches or it happens for none of the matches. Even though in my opinion it's a load of bollocks, because in some matches you're taking away the possibility for the heels to do some healing. Why would you do that? I have no idea. What I do know is that Havoc and Sabian should have been disqualified in that match last night by a referee coming out from the back to correct Rickety Knox. That's me rant off me tits. It probably didn't bother you in the slightest, but you know, it did for me. Let's move on. But then we have Jimmy Havoc in the middle of what was a bog standard normal tag team match in full sight of the referee. He whaps out a hacksaw. And remembering the time he pulled my pants down and embarrassed me completely on an episode of Cultaholic's mildly popular series, Straight to Hell, I'm here to say, why the bloody hell not, Jimmy Havoc? All the power in the world to you, my best friend. Now forget about that glove there for a second, even though it is the missing piece in Shawn Spears' makeup. When he put that glove on for the first time ever and started doing that, I don't know about you at home, but I was thinking Shawn. But even though we now have a Shawn Spears with a black heel glove, which other heels have worn in the past, which now means that Shawn Spears will be good at wrestling or something. What the hell's all that about? Mystical magic powers? What? The real question about that scene there is what has happened to that car roof? What is splattered on the roof of that car? And I know we're trying to take Shawn Spears more seriously after the utter bollocks that happened at Double or Nothing 2020, but we need to ask, what have Shawn and Tully been doing in the back of that car to cause that little stain on the roof of that car after that shot of the boxer shorts? My God. And then we saw Brian Cage ask the crowd in attendance at last night's Dynamite, who better than Cage, huh? And I don't know about you at home, but I was thinking Canyon. Nobody better than Canyon. And whoever edited the sound onto this week's AEW Dynamite, I would like to personally thank you for whizzing right in the eye of that Jon Moxley promo. The crowd noises that were so blatantly plucked from another part of the night and just plopped on top of that Jon Moxley promo were so loud, so out of place, so distracting that for a second I forgot I was watching AEW in the era 2020 and I thought I was watching SmackDown in the year 2005 when a babyface who wasn't very popular were making their entrance while the crowd in attendance were not moving their arms or their mouths whatsoever. If you know that noise that I'm talking about, well, you know it, don't you? And you get the reference. First of all, where the hell are they? The way that Alex Marvez was like, guys, we have found him. We have finally found him. Like Lance Archer was like around the corner inside of Daly's place, just around the corner from the ring. That didn't work for me in this shot there. That scene there has got to be a short car rides away from Daly's place, has it not? But then we see Lance Archer grab Alex Marvez by the collar, which causes Jack the no-good snack of all people to say to Alex Marvez, I am sorry. We saw Jack the Snack being sorry? I didn't think he was capable of such an emotion here in the year of 2020, especially with how much of a bastard he's been in AEW so far, so fresh in the memory banks. And I don't know about you at home once again, but I just guess this AEW version of Jack the Snack Roberts here in the year 2020, after everything he said about Brandy Rhodes and the women in general, he just really must hate women. Why? Apparently Judas is a make-out song, said Excalibur. But it would appear that yes, it would be for the bunny here, as in this scene right here, she is very much a Judas on the surface of things. Maybe, I'm not too sure what's going on in this little storyline here. And that's simply because me personally, I don't follow QT Marshall or the bunny on Twitter. And I only know to say that because I've seen Jungle Boy quote retweet their tweets over the past couple of weeks. Based off what we've seen on Dynamite solely, we've seen the bunny go back to her old alley gimmick and then start cheating on the Blade. That's it. Where's this going? I've got no idea. So we heard Chris Jericho tell the people in attendance, shut your ass. We heard him call Mike Tyson a piece of sugar, honey, ice, and tea. What does that spell, everybody? But then when he said he wanted to shove Mike Tyson's head up his stupid ass, that ass was bleeped, even though we'd already heard another ass from the same man, and that same man call another man a piece of sugar, honey, ice, and tea. Why was that bleep happening there? And then we had Big Dick Tony, who said he was very happy to have the very first exclusive interview with FTR. And in this moment, this gave us a WTF moment because AEW employee Tony Schiavone does not listen to Talk is Jericho, which is of course a huge WTF moment when you remember that when you sign for AEW, part of the welcoming package is an interview on Talk is Jericho. You get a bouquet of flowers, you get a new dressing gown, you get to sit down with Chris Jericho and moan for an hour. That's the AEW welcoming package. But then again, Chris Jericho is just so disrespectful to the lovely and wholesome Big Dick Tony Schiavone. So why would he reference Talk is Jericho being a thing? I guess I just talked myself out of a huge WTF moment. And I'm asking the question, why is that shot there just so out of focus? You can forget about it being arty and hipster and oh, so cultured. That there just looks like the start of a 1990s porno. Do not ask me how I know that. But when you think about it, this potential porno right here could actually be called F the Revival. Let's go one further. Big Dick Tony Schiavone F's the Revival. Pornhub. It's what you do after a loss. It's how you respond, said Brodie Lee to Colt Cabana, who had just lost a match to Le Champion, Chris Jericho. And I was thinking, Mr. Brodie, what the hell have you done since you lost to Jon Moxley? Which I guess is the point because he's a heel. But still, what have you done, pal? But I've got to ask the question to every single person watching this video. Would you drink a bottle of cloudy water given to you by a man who was in a cult? Not only a man in a cult, but a man in a cult who wears a turtleneck jumper just like Ted Bundy. Would you drink a bottle of cloudy water given to you by him? You wouldn't, would you? So why did Colt? Silly man. Ray Phoenix? Ray Phoenix? Is that you? No, it's not Tony Schiavone. So it was announced just before that Cody versus Jungle Boy match that the winner of Cody versus Jungle Boy would be facing Mark Quinn on next week's Dynamite. But despite this being announced before the match, during the match, Big Dick Tony Schiavone reckons that Ref Phoenix is the man who is challenging the winner of that match for the TNT Championship. And I've got no idea how he did that. Do you? And now it's time for this.
Wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank. Wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank.
Hello and welcome back to Wankety Wank, the section of WTF Moments where you, a sexual wank faison, tweet me with something I might have missed from an episode of a professional wrestling show, and I give you all of the credit just in case it's wrong. Thank you to N46 for pointing this out here. And I've actually done the research this week because I do not watch AEW Dark. I know I'm a bad human being, but Moxley has wrestled on there before, so good on Mr. N406446. And that's it for all your WTF moments from this week's AEW Dynamite. I've been Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic.com. Thank you for listening to this rambling nonsense of a video. I'm sorry, I've had a can of Monster this morning and I'm going absolutely radio rental inside of me head. I'll see you next time for some WTF moments. Hey, good stuff all the time, isn't it fantastic?